Good evening. Chad. Hello, young fella. You doing? How you doing? What's news, gentlemen? Yeah, that church warden really did come out very nice. I'm very happy with it. Very proud of it. And I'm smoking my cigar from the Atabey, which I started yesterday. It's 2 days now. Although I did smoke a couple of pipes today as well. Been smoking this my LCS bent billiard. Some Olik golden sliced in there. This is an Atabey sent to me by James. One of 3 monster-sized cigars. That really was the key to that pipe you done. You're quite right. Very well spotted. That's exactly what it's all about. A lightweight bowl with a fairly hefty stem and shank, which makes the center of gravity closer to the face. So the bowl is really very little pull on your jaw. I have a weak jaw. So because I made it with myself in mind, I adjusted it accordingly. So it really sits very, very comfortably when you clench. It's a very tasty cigar, really is. I mean, I really wanted to do a video on it, but it just took so long to smoke it so far. But yeah, it's a very nice, very tasty cigar. It's not a heavy going peppery cigar. It's not a classic American style pepper bomb. But they're not cheap. I think they're about $35, $40. So they are quite an expensive cigar. You know, they're getting up for into the Padron Anniversario kind of range. You know, it was a very generous gift from James, as it always is. Far too generous. I keep telling him that, but he just doesn't listen. You're into the spicier. This is not what you want then. Get yourself some Rocky Patel's anniversary, silver anniversary, that kind of thing. They're pretty peppery. Right. Yeah. You listen. You smoke what you like. That's the way it should be. Stick with what you prefer for sure. So I've got this. just trying still. Okay. So this was sent to me by a good friend. If he comes on, I can mention his name. I'm sure he won't mind, but I can't say without him saying so. A relatively recent YTPC presenter, a lovely, lovely, friendly, affable guy here from the UK as well. Anyway, he's got this broken stem, so he wanted to know if I could do something with it. I tried, but it wasn't going anywhere. So I said that I would cut him a new stem. And today I uploaded a video with some new Eldritch stems. And he saw this one and he said, yes, yes, yes. So, no problem. So that's what we're going to do. Be interesting to see how the blue and white looks. It really will be. Get a little bit of an idea of the length of this one. Okay. I was thinking Israeli flag, yeah. That could be interesting for somebody, or Argentina as well, I think has the same colours, don't they? I can never forget Maradona's handball. The late Maradona. He's gone, hasn't he? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's like a pastel colour, the blue, the Argentina one. But this is pretty bright. And I will say as well that I think that his mixing on these is better. I don't know what that will show, how that will show up in the final product, because you only really see the patterns once you cut into the rod. But a lot of his earlier rods, I don't know if this is just something he's sort of perfected and refined his process, or if it's just these colors maybe, because I think the colors very possibly have different densities possibly and mixing properties. Sure, no problem, you don't. I look forward. So it's possible that's something to do with the colors, but a lot of his ones the early ones that I bought from him, this is mixed with a centrifugal spinning device, and that mixes the colors. And what you tended to get was a denser color, the heavier color towards one end, and the really beautiful mix of colors towards the other end. And when you cut into the block, you would get, if you remember my bamboo that I smoke, the big bamboo pipe that I made, the green and white or green and yellowy white kind of mix, stunning swirls, just really tight swirls, just beautiful. But right at the other end of that rod was almost black, with little sort of bits of green coming through. So I think that there was either that's something to do with the colors, the density of the colors, or maybe it's a process that he's now refined. I don't know, it'd be interesting to see. So I've shifted my workshop around, as some of you may have seen. So I've got the bandsaw right next to me. see what I mean? So this is the top. You see that? You can see the swirl starting to happen there. But you look a little bit, this is the other bit connecting to that I just showed you, but 3 inches down, and it's much more uniform, and that will look stunning. I can see that already. So there's definitely a difference as you get down the rod. Idan, I'll tell you this about stem materials. I've always been a fan of ebonite. As much as it's a pain in the neck that it oxidizes, I've always been a fan of ebonite. I found it always much more comfortable than acrylic, until I started making pipes. And I make myself a pipe. I use an acrylic bit. This one is a preformed one, but if you work on it to make it, if you customize it essentially, you can make that as comfortable as anything else. But I used to avoid acrylic stems like the plague almost, because they were too brittle, and they just didn't feel very forgiving on your teeth, as opposed to ebonite, which is it's rubber based. It just felt a lot softer. This stuff, the downside of ebonite obviously is that it oxidizes with time and with exposure. This stuff is the best of both worlds. This one you get the softness of rubber, and it doesn't oxidize because it is made out of some kind of artificial acrylic-y, epoxy type of, I don't know what material it is, but it's an interesting material. It's very, very soft. You warm this up to it actually has quite a low what's his name, melting point. Not melting, it kind of the consistency of the material changes when you get to a certain temperature. It could be it's poly. Hey Phil. So when you're heating it and when you're sanding it, I remember one time when I was sanding this stuff, I was sanding, the lathe was spinning so fast, the friction with the sandpaper just softened the whole thing, and it was like a sponge. But it has a huge upside in that it's extremely comfortable, very easy to sand, and initially I had trouble bending it, but I've gotten over that now. You just need to take your time with it, and it bends just fine. But it does have a very good memory. It's like an elephant. So when you bent this and then you decide you want to just do something a little bit more, yeah, it's Eldritch. I had to make these ones up for me. If you reheat it, it will just spring back up and you go boing, straight back up. It's got a very swift memory, so you got to watch that. But although, if I had to choose at this stage of the game, I still prefer this classic patterns that you get on ebonite. Well, prefer is a strong word. Let me say I still very much like ebonite. Yes, it has that downside of oxidization, but the bamboo Eldritch one that I've got, extremely comfortable. In terms of comfort, it's as good as any ebonite, possibly better. So from that point of view, absolutely no problem at all. It's actually, I think that Eldritch has done a pretty miraculous thing. He's actually invented something for a purpose. Ebonite originally, was used for musical instruments. It still is to this day. I don't know which one predated which, whether it was used for pipes before or after musical instruments or other uses. But this stuff, he's invented something specifically to avoid the oxidization and to remove the brittleness of acrylic. So I think he's achieved it, and based on the use that I've had of them now, I think he's done an awesome job. Pens as well, yeah. Sunscreen on UV oxidation. I don't know. I don't know if it's the I mean, I'm assuming there's some kind of photosynthesis which brings up the sulfur to the surface. I think it's sulfur that's in there. Um, so I don't know if it's to do with the actual brightness or if it's actually a chemical reaction. Um, so it could be that some kind of barrier would stop it. I don't know, but you really wouldn't want to put that in your mouth, and that's usually where it all happens first. Yeah, well, the acrylic stems that you have on Meerschaum will not really be a benchmark for you because, and I've got the same problem with my Meerschaums. I have two Meerschaums and they both have the same problem, and that is that they they just use rubbish stems. They use plastic. I wouldn't even call it acrylic. It depends. If you go to a high-end one, then yes. But the average Turkish pipe that you'll buy will have these yellow sort of faux amber stems, and they're the bite zone is as thick as your fist, and they're just they don't put any attention to that. The tenons are usually awful. The mortise and tenon connection is usually awful, and they're all about the carving of the meerschaum. That's all they're interested in. That's their speciality. Uh, so if you go to a specialist meerschaum company, and you get a decent stem, then that's really the best of both worlds. But the cheap meerschaums, unfortunately, that's what you're going to get. You're just going to get rubbish stem work. I mean, they're using preformed stems, and I don't think they do any work on the bit at all. It's really the problem is that they're drilled with such a wide diameter drill bit. It's not tapered, so that maybe it's 4 mil or 3 or 4 mil. It goes all the way up to the bit, so you can't even file down the bit to make it narrow because you're going to go right through to the hole. That's the problem with a lot of them. Yeah, yeah, you're paying for Meerschaum is gone up in price. It'll be interesting to see your results, Ken. I think this cigar is finally coming to the end of its life. I'm not a huge Meerschaum smoker. IMP has got a good reputation, um, but you'll be looking at spending something like $250, something like that, for a decent Meerschaum. But other people on here will be able to give you recommendations. Yeah, saliva must have something to do with it because the first place that oxidizes is around the mouthpiece, around where you put it in your mouth. I'm just looking back at some of the comments. Yes, it is Eldritch, Phil. Your Meerschaum. What make Meerschaum is the one you're smoking, Ken? You said it's got blue and white in it. Here we go. Hi, James. Una. Well, maybe next time. Well, tonight you're going on, aren't you? Maybe show the pipe close up. Let's have a look at the stem and the shank and mortise and tenon connection. Idan, did nobody ever teach you to say please? I want whiskey now. No, I'm talking about James's one. He said he's got a pipe made by Yunar, which he's very happy with. Right, should I get to doing this stem then? I'm just yanking your chair. Besede Gamor. So Izzy says you're actually based in America. Is that right? Lee Van Cleef, very nice. Gentleman Pipe Smokers. Oh yeah, I'm on there. Are you based in Israel? I got booted off the Gentleman Pipe Smoking Society once. Was it you that got me back on, James? Somebody got me back on. I once posted a picture on the group. My son had brought me a little bit of the legal part of CBD, the little bit of the plant that's legal, and I crumbled some of that up into some tobacco to put in a pipe. And I realized afterwards that it wasn't the right thing to do from an enjoyment perspective, but it certainly wasn't the right thing to do to post a picture of it. And I posted a picture of it and I got booted. They didn't even tell me why I got booted, I just got booted. It took me quite a long time to get back on. Don't recall who got me on back on. Maybe it was Andrew. It was either James or Andrew. I don't know. Maybe he was confusing you with somebody else. He seemed to think that you were. And I think that's a private group. I think you have to get invited. But it's probably the biggest pipe smoking group on Facebook. There's about, I think there's about 15,000 people on it. That's a big audience. So I was quite keen to get back on there. Was it you, James? Was that I wonder who it was, or I wonder who it was? And there you go. You know my memory. That was a huge favor you did for me, James, because I was not happy having been booted off, and I'd always, try to stick to the rules. And a frequent poster, so I thought they would at least contact me and say, "Well, what are you doing?" kind of thing. But I guess they've got so many people on the group that they don't have the time for that. And you break a rule, you break a rule. 30,000 is it now? Wow. Well, when I joined originally, it was I don't know when I joined, a few years ago. Um, it was around 15,000, so they've grown. That tells you something. That tells you something about the pipe smoking community. If it's gone up to 30,000, wow. This is 2020. It makes sense, I guess, people sitting at home. Well, that weed, I took 1 or 2 draws of it, and it made me feel very queer, and I put it down straight away. I don't like that sensation at all. I didn't enjoy it at all. Right, I think we'll leave that pipe and get some work done. Can't be sitting there chatting to the likes of you guys all night. Oh dear me, tired. Been a long day. I've been in the workshop all day today, pretty much. I got into the workshop, must have been around 9 o'clock this morning. So that's what, 13 and a half hours ago. And I've been out here for most of that, so. I'll probably be on James's live for a bit, and then I'm going to hit the sack. My daily routine has now changed a little bit. All my kids going back to school, so gotta be around when they're around. No, he hasn't. He hasn't come back to me about it. If you want to buy it, go ahead and buy it. It's not a problem. And Daniel won't mind because he's prone to impulsive offers, but doesn't always follow through, and that's fine as well. You know, I hold nothing against him for that. But if you want to buy it, please go ahead and buy it. Don't hesitate. Well, 13 mil. For Rivara package, nice. It's going to be a bit tight. All right, we'll have to see. Right, that's pretty circular. A lot of times you get rods and the outside is not really fully circle. It can be quite inconsistent, so that's good to see. Put a little bit of a curve on there, a little bit of an inverted dome, because I'm going to need to make it a little bit wider than the actual hole, so it'll just wrap over that dome a little bit. Depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for entertainment, and James is 100 times better than mine. If you're looking to see pipes being made, or just information about pipes and tobaccos or cigars, then sometimes I've got something to say on the matter. It's not to say that James doesn't have anything to offer on pipes and cigars, but if you're looking for the entertainment factor, you're definitely going to get a lot more on James's channel. No doubt about that. James likes to watch. Close your mouth, dear. Who knows where that's a reference from? Hey Jeff, Rusty. Got to be careful also when you drill this stuff, is not to leave the drill bit in for too long because it's so soft. It will expand as well, so just got to be aware of these things. Yeah, it's sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Glenn, I'll see if I need it when I'm doing it. But it's been okay so far. I've never really had to do it. Oh, you mean in terms of keeping it cool? I see what you mean. Yeah, oh, I hear that. I hear that. isn't it? Zenobia. Hi. No, my daughter called from college, so I'm afraid she comes before you guys. Hey, Dan. No, this is a customer sent me his Savinelli pipes with a broken stem. He asked me to make him another stem. Okay, fine. No problem. I use a bit of extractor hosing. This stuff, I have it screwed to the ceiling, and I store the stems in there, the rods. And it just came down. I've got rods basically all over the shop, but that was just one of the things which store it. And when I tried to put these in, the whole thing just went kaput. where we are so far. Yeah, that was kind of right down. So that's got to be bent, obviously, but it actually fits really well. Very happy with that. There's pros and cons, Daniel. But certainly good stuff. If you rewatch the beginning of this, I spoke about the different stem materials at length earlier on in the video, in the live. It's a lot of white. Now I need to just do the slot. This is Eldritch. Now the slot machine that I bought was not good enough quality. I mean, I haven't really spent that much time with it, to be honest. Perhaps I should spend more time setting it up. But it's obviously, I mean, I bought it on eBay, I think. It was a bit of a Chinese knockoff. It's just not. I haven't really spent enough time with it, to be honest. But on my initial playing around with it, it just wasn't good enough. There was too much movement. And I know that you can use them for it. Plenty of people do. but you can get the same machine 4 times the price, so there must be different qualities. Hey, Steph. Adriano. This is the tricky part that I find with the problem with this, not problem, but the thing with this Eldritch is that you have got to bear in mind that there's quite a big tenon in there, and you just got to be careful with how you bend it, because it will. I've had it before where it just snaps. This is cut like that downward. This is a half-sided, third half-sided. I just prefer a heat gun. I find it more controllable. More chance of melting it if you use a flame. It's a matter of what you're used to, I guess. The old masters have all used flame. It's just a matter of what you're used to. I've always used the heat gun. I see the bulldog just sold. whoever that was, thank you very much. I think that bulldog has gone to a third person. I don't recognise the name. So I don't think it went to Idan, I don't think it went to Daniel. So I don't know who bought that. I mean, I got a name who bought the bulldog, but anyway, either way, I'm grateful to whoever it was. You got to take your time with this Eldritch stuff. Got to be patient. Unless you got a big vat of water that you can do it, which I don't have, to cool down the stem. No worries, James. I'll see you soon. I just can't let go of the stem at the moment. No, this is somebody else's pipe they sent me. It's a Savinelli pipe, and the stem broke. They asked me to make a replacement stem. All right, well, there it is. Stem done. Hopefully they will like it. All right. Well, I'm going to bid you all good night. I'll go off so that you guys can go and join James. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And I'll catch you on the next one.